Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Awaken Tarot. There's a website on the back here. Is MYRYVE, V as in Victor.com. There's a little bit more information. There's the creative director, I think is the name of the person. That's the title they have. Sally Willems, WILLMS. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested. There's also this information if you want to see it. You can freeze frame, and it's about, I think, a charity that they work with. So if you're interested, freeze frame and enjoy. Okay. Oh, and the Oracle cards. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle Cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. Website, rockpoolpublishing.com.au, A as in apple, U as an umbrella. What do we have for Aquarius? We got two cards pushing out from the bottom. Openness and leadership. I don't know if we're going to need these other cards, but they're pushing out of the deck, so I'll take them. Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Cups. So, okay, so where this is going to end up is there's an opportunity that's popping out. It reminds me of a sinkhole. Like when you see one in the city or something and a car just goes thunk. It's kind of like, oh, I didn't think that was good. But you might find something in conjunction to that. Something like that. Like, oh, since that's an issue, since that's going on, maybe we can change a lot of other things here. Just a heads up, because it's like the Wheel of Fortune, but you also got this coming forward, which is the Tower. Just want to set the stage for where we're really going here, because there's really good opportunity coming out of something that you may be like, oh, that didn't look good. That type of thing. Okay, so this is other people, isn't it? This is other people. Other people have called you into a situation. I feel like that's how this started. And when you got called into it, when you were called into this situation, you were ready for it. The Knight of Cups is showing up, but I keep questioning, like it fit you. I feel like it more that's saying that it fit you. Some of you might have been happy to be a part of it. Others of you just were like, yeah, that fits me. This should work. And the Nine of Major Arcana, which is the Hermit, is half in, half out. I feel like I had to gather information, kind of work it out, and then tell selective people what I thought of it. Something like that. So, you were chosen to move forward, to come into the situation. I feel like, even if this was like the beginning of a job, if this is a job thing, it might be like you interviewed for one job and then somebody else said, you know what, why don't you come over here and be a part of this part? Why don't you come over here? This is a little bit better money and better hours. Why don't you come over here with us? You weren't even looking for that job. Maybe you didn't even realize it was there, but they're like, no, you should come over here. So it's kind of like chosen like that. Like maybe you interviewed at this company, but blah, 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 you went somewhere else. It could be something where you showed up at an event and people just started warming up to you and started talking to you. Like there's an element here of you being chosen with that magician. Because I see, like, I keep thinking this is somebody else. I don't think that was you choosing. I think it was somebody else saying, you're a good one. Come this way. Now this situation, see, there's this card. It could be a love situation. I'm not going to say it's not. But if it is, I feel like the intellect really worked for you. And I'm saying that in the sense of like you were happy with how your intellect and their intellect matched. I'm not saying they were as smart as you or are as smart as you. I'm just saying you like how the dynamic works. Okay. I'm trying to get into the next level, but I get that there's a problem here. That even though you liked this and you were going forward with it, there seemed to be an issue with how things were working out. I feel like you started having to do more of the work yourself in this situation, and other people were looking at you for direction more, and it's kind of like, I feel like this was one of those situations where I could explain it to you or just take half the time and just do it myself. And I don't really want to waste the time, so I'll just do it myself. I feel like that started happening with this situation. It seemed like it evolved in that direction. Even though I like how the intellect works in this situation, I feel like I just felt like I was stepping away from it and just doing my own thing more than dealing with the people. I don't feel like this was a total disconnect, because this is like more in your thoughts and feelings. I feel like I emotionally disconnected from this for a while and started doing things more on my own. As the situation keeps moving forward, I feel like I've become more of the actual physical leader than I wanted to be. I feel like I'm doing everything myself. I get the Strength card, which sometimes talks about Leo. It doesn't have to, but that's an energy that does itself. It just keeps moving forward. It just doesn't overthink things, keeps going. You also have the King of Wands, which can be similar energy there. So, you just kept having to do things, and I feel like I don't have a lot of time to think about it. I just have to keep things moving forward. But this isn't my natural energy and how I do things. I like to think it out, talk it out, and help other people move forward. But I feel like I'm literally doing all the work myself. And I'm not really sure if this is really going to work for me long term at this point. At this point, I'm starting to consider options. Even though this is here with this, it worked. There's a really good bond, a really good foundation. Even though this could be a romance thing, you might be coming to the point where you're like, I like this person, but maybe I would like them better as a friend rather than a lover. Just take it with a grain of salt. It either hits or it doesn't. I'm just kind of, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. If this is a work situation, maybe if I'm going to lead anyway, maybe I should be the leader. And maybe they can sit back if that's what's going to happen anyway, just to be fair. As you keep coming forward, I feel like you're going to fight a little bit. Fight in what direction? Fight with this person? Fight with this person. I mean, you got the Five of Wands, so... The Emperor, the Five of Cups reversed. I don't really like how it's going. I don't really like how it's feeling. And I'm really looking to reshape the situation. So it's like the dynamic has to be realigned. But there's a lot of like discord coming out of this. I don't think of Aquarius as afraid to fight. I think of Aquarius as more like if there's going to be arguments, Aquarius wants productive arguments. Let's go ahead and argue, but let's keep our heads about us and let's argue about what's actually happening, and let's move things forward from our arguments if we have to argue. Let's not just throw up. I don't think of Aquarius as just saying nasty things. I don't think of Aquarius that way. I think of like Aquarius like, let's talk about the subject. If some profanity comes out during the conversation, that whatever. But it's like we're not just like trading insults. That's not the point. We're giving information however we need to, and we're building on this information, and we're hashing things out and figuring things out during the argument. It's like a productive argument, if you will. Because I feel like through the arguments, I do feel like we're working things out and we're figuring things out, we're finding things out that we didn't realize, or maybe we didn't realize how somebody felt, or like how people were treating things, or information that was held to the background that we didn't think was that important. A lot of this is coming out during these arguments, because I see there's a lot of arguments coming forward. With the Emperor coming in, I do feel like there's a lot of brutal truth. I don't see Aquarius having a problem with brutal truth, as long as it's the truth. If it's got to be brutal, then it's got to be brutal. We're trying to we're trying to allocate this whole situation, realign this whole situation so there's more benefit to it, and it doesn't feel like it's been feeling. Because I feel like the way it started, where it went, it didn't go where I thought it should. So now we're going to work it out. After that Five of Wands is where that Tower comes in. Two of Swords reversed, a block is released. And then the Lover's card reversed. Whatever this situation is, the person that you were connected with here, it seems like that's changing, that's going. Out of these arguments, it may break down the situation, but it will release a block. It's not expected, and I feel like at first I didn't think this is what I wanted, but once it's said and done, maybe it is. I get that after that, new things are showing up, and it's time to choose what you really want. That Tower coming in is kind of like the outcome was not expected that came from these arguments. But you're going to get a lot of freedom from it. And there's a lot of choices that have to be made from it. You're not the only person making choices. Other people have to decide what they really want from this situation. When I see the what does it say? Music and movement, I feel a lot of freedom with that. A lot of ability to express how you want to express, be who you want to be, and enjoy the time that you're having. When this breakdown happens, they're saying step back, enjoy the time, enjoy this moment for what it is, but really step back and have some time to yourself if you can, and hash out where you want it to be in the long run. Because if you decide where you want to be in the long run, you'll naturally just navigate yourself there however you need to get there. When that Tower happens, don't get stuck in the Tower. Get outside of the Tower, look at what's happening. Just because the Tower is falling doesn't mean it can't be rebuilt. You could rebuild the Tower just with a better structure if that's what you want. Or you might be like, you know what, now that that Tower is falling, I see what it's around and I don't really care for where it is. So maybe I don't want that Tower back. Where do I want to go? If you step back and you think about it, you'll know what your answer is and you'll start naturally gravitating towards your resolution. I feel like the way this is going, though, there's a lot going on. You're constantly doing things. You might not step back naturally. You might just keep going with it and end up rebuilding something that you really don't want. Or worse, you may rebuild it and you do want it, but you might rebuild it in the same way that it was before and it will fall again. If you just keep going. Because I feel like you don't have a lot of time. You just keep moving forward and you just get things done. You need a minute to step back, sort it out, let that intelligence that you have work, and make that decision effectively. Because again, if you want to rebuild the Tower, that's fine. You just don't want to rebuild it the way it was. And if you're not giving it enough thought, enough proper thought, you're going to build it the way it was, and it's going to fall again. You don't want that. You can rebuild it, just make sure you rebuild it with the upgrades and the improvements. If you step back, you will do that. You'll be fine. We're good? Alright, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.